Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a truly unique approach to knowledge extraction.
Yeah, this is a fun one.
We usually plunge into dense technical reports, historical archives, stacks of financial data, but sometimes the most profound insights, they aren't buried in all that complexity.
They're right there on the surface, perfectly distilled into a narrative.
Exactly. Our source today is an excerpt from a story. It's called The Case of the Missing Winter Magic.
And just to be clear, our mission here isn't really literary analysis in the traditional sense. We're not, grading the prose or anything.
No. We are using this story as a kind of structural blueprint.
A delivery system for knowledge.
Yes. Our learner came to us looking for some crisp, powerful takeaways on 3 specific concepts: observation, effective problem solving, and maybe most importantly, emotional intelligence.
And we're here to show you how this simple story, it provides a kind of shortcut to mastering all 3. We're examining mechanics of how it delivers its themes.
What are the explicit lessons?
That and the surprisingly intricate connection it draws between an external consequence, the missing magic, and internal human behavior. It's a closed-loop system, really.
Okay, closed-loop system. I like that. So let's unpack this opening setup.
Let's do it.
The stage is Maple Hollow Elementary. It's the coldest morning of December. And the first sign of trouble is really the negative space. The playground is completely snowless.
Which, if you're a kid, you know immediately the world is broken.
Totally. No forts, no snowballs, no angels, just bare, cold ground. That's the macro crisis.
The whole environment is just signaling this state of emergency. But within that huge uniform absence, the source gives us one crucial anomaly.
The thing that shifts everything.
The trigger. It's a single snowflake sitting perfectly, almost impossibly, right in the middle of the school slide.
That one detail is. It's everything. It's the data point that just screams, this is not melting.
This is a mystery.
Exactly. If there were no snow, it would just be disappointing. But because there is one perfect snowflake, the situation becomes suspicious. It proves the world's magic hasn't vanished.
It's been stolen.
And that single data point immediately launches our 3 young protagonists into action. We instantly see the birth of the Snowflake Detective Club.
And what's really clever here is how their roles get established in just 3 lines of dialogue. It's so efficient.
So we have Mia, the sharp observer, who names the feeling. She just says, that's suspicious.
And you get Max, who's the immediate escalation specialist. He makes it formal, extremely suspicious.
And Harper, the process expert, the documenter, she immediately pulls out her notebook.
And boom, the club is formed. Just like that. This quick formation is, I think, the first structural lesson for you, the learner.
How so?
Observation leads instantly to action. And effective action means defined roles and documentation. There's no bureaucratic delay. They define their mission and their methodology in seconds.
Right, that organizational efficiency is key. But the core of the mystery, and I think the core insight for us, it can't proceed until they understand the unique operating rules of this world.
This is where the narrative introduces that crucial talking plot device.
The snowflake itself.
The single snowflake sparkling on the slide, it suddenly speaks in a tiny, chilly voice.
And it confirms the crisis. Help! The rest of us are missing.
And this isn't just, making it cute. It's a narrative device that provides the internal system manual. The snow is an active, sentient entity.
And this manual immediately defines the antagonist and, crucially, the cause of the whole conflict. The villain isn't some evil wizard.
No, it's the rushing wind.
But the rushing wind is just the mechanism, right? The story is very precise about this. The wind steals snow, specifically when people rush too much and forget to slow down.
And here is where it gets really interesting for our learner, because this is the core thematic mechanism we promised to unpack.
This is it. The narrative explicitly links the absence of the external magic, the fun snow, to an internal communal behavioral failure.
Rushing and forgetting to care. So if we connect this to the bigger picture, the story's structure guarantees that the solution can't be external. You can't just fight the wind with a sword.
Right. The external environment is literally reacting to their hurriedness and their emotional neglect.
Which forces the detectives, and you as the reader, to realize the problem is internal and social.
This raises a crucial question for me, though. Doesn't using a magical explanation, the talking snowflake, the rushing wind, doesn't that risk simplifying the concept too much?
For an older learner, you mean? Someone looking for a business application.
Yeah. Does the magic part dilute the lesson?
I'd argue not at all, because the magic here is functional, not arbitrary. It's an immediate causal feedback loop, which is immensely powerful for teaching.
An immediate feedback loop.
Yeah. In the real world, the link between, say, internal stress and external consequence like rushing leads to sloppy work, which leads to budget failure. That's often delayed and complex.
Sure, it could take months to see the result.
Exactly. The story just speeds up the causality. Rush right now, lose the snow right now. This immediate feedback makes the behavioral lesson undeniable.
That's a fascinating way to frame it. The narrative provides a guaranteed system of cause and effect. If the characters fail, they know why. If they succeed.
They know precisely why. The outcome is tied directly to the community's emotional state.
Okay, so once these rules are established, internal stress creates external chaos. We have to look at how the detectives used observation to find their way back.
They spring into action and find 3 specific clues.
And these clues are vital because they immediately show an expansion of what observation even means. They're training you, the reader, to look for more than just physical evidence.
Let's detail them. Clue 1 is pretty traditional detection. They find slippery footprints leading toward the woods.
Physical, measurable data. Simple enough.
But then it gets abstract. Clue 2. Icicles chimed nervously near the trees.
And clue 3. A snow cloud hovered above, spinning way too fast. These aren't just descriptions, they're emotional data points.
Precisely. If we accept the premise that the environment is reflecting internal states, then the icicles are giving off anxiety data. They're nervous.
And the snow cloud isn't just moving. Its movement signifies stress. It's spinning too fast.
The detectives are forced to expand their sensory input beyond the typical 5 senses. They have to start looking for environmental reflections of emotional chaos.
And Harper, the meticulous documenter, makes that immediate, astute assessment. She looks at the non-physical evidence and said the cloud simply looks stressed.
Which is a massive pivot point in the investigation.
Huge.
It forces them to confront a problem that is not physical. I mean, you can track footprints, but how do you address nervous icicles?
Right. This is the moment where their entire strategy has to shift from traditional detection, finding the thief, to root cause analysis, and empathy.
And Mia, the observer, she realizes this. Her insight is so profound for a young detective. Maybe it needs help, not chasing.
That's what we're calling the strategic pivot.
Yeah. In management terms, they transition from focusing on symptom management, the missing snow, to root cause correction. The communal hurriedness.
The whole methodology shifts from what do we catch to what do we repair.
And the narrative is extremely specific about the actions they take to repair this. It gives you, the learner, a literal checklist of corrective behaviors.
The antithesis of the problem.
Exactly. They slowed their steps, showing intentionality. They spoke gently, which reduces the atmospheric pressure. But the most important actions are the ones focused outward on the community.
Not inward on the mystery itself.
Right. They specifically helped a younger kid zip their coat. That's demonstrating care for the vulnerable.
They shared mittens, an act of unprompted generosity.
And they laughed instead of rushing, restoring a sense of joy and calm. These are not complex interventions.
No, they're low-cost, high-impact acts of what you could call relational repair.
The story is making the argument that fixing the macro problem requires simple, intentional micro-kindnesses. The small acts of slowing down and caring are the necessary inputs to restore the system.
And the brilliance of this narrative structure is that immediate, magical feedback. The minute the kids demonstrate collective care and intentional slowness,
The resolution is instant.
the cloud slows down, the pressure is released, and the snowflakes flutter back, filling the air like glittery confetti.
That single snowflake they started with multiplies into hundreds. They solve the case not by finding a culprit, but by fixing their own community's emotional rhythm.
And Max's summary just captures the success of their new methodology. Best case ever.
And Harper closes the file on the solution. Case closed. The mechanism of the story is now fully understood. Behavioral change equals environmental restoration.
Okay, so let's synthesize these takeaways. Let's focus them directly on our learner. We've analyzed the structure. What are the explicit lessons the source was designed to transfer?
Well, first, observation skills. But not just looking for footprints. It's about learning to read environmental cues, emotional data.
Right. Second, strategic problem solving. Knowing when to stop chasing the symptom and pivot toward the root cause.
Third, empathy as a necessary tool. And finally, the immense compounding value of slowing down and actively helping others.
Those 4 points are the structural lessons embedded within the mystery. But the highest level insight, which is the most profound part of this, is the conclusion the narrative just compels you to walk away with.
When we slow down and care for others, the world feels magical again.
That one line elevates the story from simple fiction to a functional framework. It demonstrates that the sense of magic or flow in our lives
Whether it's productive workflow or communal happiness or just unexpected success.
is often the direct, predictable result of positive collective behavior and intentionality. The chaos they experienced was just a consequence of rushing. The order they achieved was a consequence of care.
It's a complete systems analysis. They had to observe the anomaly, analyze the magical rulebook, shift their strategy from confrontation to empathy, and then implement specific positive behavioral corrections.
The narrative structure makes this complex idea of communal emotional responsibility feel simple and actionable.
It really does.
So this deep dive shows you that you can use a narrative structure like this as a template for understanding complex causality.
Yeah.
Whether you're trying to diagnose low morale in a team meeting or just figure out why your personal schedule feels chaotic.
The lessons are the same.
Look beyond the surface symptoms, define the rules of the system, and implement small acts of corrective care.
And that leads us to our final provocative thought for you to consider based on what we've just analyzed. The story posits that our external environment, those nervous icicles, the stressed snow cloud, is a direct, immediate reflection of human hurriedness. So if you were one of the detectives today, what specific non-physical clues is your immediate environment, your office, your car, your neighborhood, giving you right now about where you need to intentionally slow down, share your mittens, and practice kindness to restore your own sense of magic?
That's a powerful challenge. Start looking for the stress clouds in your own life. Thank you for joining us for this unique deep dive into the unexpected power of story structure.
We'll see you next time.